ॐ श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवत् व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम्। यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तं न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः देवाय तस्मै नमः। Venkatraman ji, Balaji. Yeah. So we will chant from 62. ध्यायतो विषयान् पुंसः। ध्यायतो विषयान् पुंसः संगस्तेषुपजायते संगात् संजायते कामः कामात् क्रोधोऽभिजायते क्रोधात् भवति सम्मोहः सम्मोहात् स्मृतिविभ्रमः स्मृतिभ्रंशात् बुद्धिनाशः बुद्धिनाशात् प्रणश्यति रागद्वेषवियुक्तैस्तु Yeah, everybody else also can chant. This is not just me and Balaji chanting. It's meant for everybody else. Ragadveshaviyuktaistu Vishayanindriyaischaran Atmavasyairvidheyatma Prasadamadigaccati. So we completed till there. today we will chant the next one. We will study the next one, 65. Prasade sarva dukkhanam.
Prasade sarva dukkhana.
Hanihi
Hanihi
asyopajayate.
asyopajayate.
Prasanna chetasaha.
Prasanna chetasaha.
Hyashu
Yashu
buddhihi
buddhihi
paryavatishthate.
paryavadishthate.
Prasade sarva dukkhanam.
Prasade sarva dukkhana.
Hanirasyopajayate.
Manirasyopajayate.
Prasanna chetaso hyashu.
Prasanna chetasho yashu.
Buddhif paryavatishthate.
Buddhih praryavadishthate.
Yeah. So last 2-3 shlokas, 62 and 63, dhyayato vishayan pumsaha and krodhat bhavati sammohaha till buddhinashat pranashyati. So we saw what Krishna was saying, that dwelling over various things in this world is just going to carry us away. There is no end to it. There is no end to the beautiful things that are going to come. And so let that not be your focus. And it can also lead one astray. That is what Krishna said there. And therefore, 64, Raga Dvesha Viyuktaistu. Raga and Dvesha are going to be there with everybody. Likes and dislikes. Is no person in this world who has no likes and dislikes. But the question is whether I am under their spell or not. So therefore, Raga Dvesha Viyuktaistu. Vishayan Indriyais Charan Atmavashyehi Vidheyatma Prasadam Adhigacchati. We saw that there. Prasadam. So there the word prasadam does not mean this attitude of receiving, accepting outcomes as prasada of Ishvara. That is not the meaning. Prasadam, as we saw last time, it means a tranquil mind, tranquility, cheerfulness. So just make a note there. So here in 65, prasade sarva dukkhana. That word prasada reappears here. Appears again. Prasade. Same meaning as the previous prasada. So he's continuing that train of thought. So when prasade means when a person has that tranquil mind, comma, that's how it goes. The rest of the sentence goes like that. Okay. So upajayate, that is a verb there in the first line. There are two sentences in the shloka. First line is first sentence, second line is second sentence. Okay. So upajayate. So by now you know. So upajayate, the meaning you know. Jayate is born. Upajayate, born without much gap. Upajayate. Upa means near. Upanetram. Upanetram. These glasses are called Upanetram. Look at how beautiful the language is. Glasses in Sanskrit, eyeglasses, they're called Upanetram. Upanetram. Upa means Samipe. Netrasya Samipe asti. Ataha Upanetram. It's near the eyes, it seems. Therefore, it is called Upanetram. How nice it is, huh? So you don't need to invent a word for these new things that come up, you know. I mean, you don't need to invent a new word, and you can just make up a word. So, upajayate is born. Okay, what is born? Hanihi. Hanihi upajayate. Hanihi. I think all those who are all Hindi speaking and all Northern Indians will understand this. Hanihi. Not a problem. Loss. some tragedy, some loss is born. And what loss is born? How come? I thought tranquility and all means it's all gain. We can't gain in loss. Yeah. So loss of what? Sarva dukkhanam hanihi. Appa. Thank God. So sarva dukkhanam hanihi. All types of sorrows, all types of dukkha is lost, is gone, is eliminated for this person who has prasada. So sarva dukkhanam, I think we encountered this word in a previous shloka, right? So we said, how can there be, how many sorrows there can be, how many types of sorrows, so Jeff Bezos lost a lot of money because the stock price went down. I mean, Amazon stock price going down is hard to imagine, but I'm just saying. So he's a trillionaire, and so his money can go up and down, and several $1 billion lost. And people are doing alternatives, make in India, be local, be vocal. So we are all moving out of Amazon.com. So Jeff Bezos is sad because India is going the other way. Okay. So that fellow is sad. And the child is also sad. Child is wailing, weeping because the child lost its balloon. The balloon burst. So child is just, it's for it, that sadness is just very painful. It's crying. And so like this, there are lots of sadness. So person is losing hair. Person is only in his 40s, and then he looks at the mirror one day and says, oh my God, what is all this? He's shocked. All problems in the world he had, he's forgotten. His only focus is on the hair. Okay, see, look at that. These are all clues for us. No problem bothers him. Now this new problem is the big problem. So that person also is sad. And like this, we have different kinds of sadness. And recently I came across this. The Sanskrit word for sister-in-law. Okay, sister-in-law means husband's sister. That sister-in-law is, what? It is called Nananda. Nananda, correct? Hindi mein Nanad bolte hai na? Nanad. Nanad is all same thing, Nananda. And in Tamil, Nathanar, and then in Malayalam, Nattu and all that they say. So in Telugu, it is a little different. I think Vadina or something, Vadina. So we have to look at the etymology of that. But this Nanandri, Nanandati, iti Nanandri. She is not happy, it seems. She is not happy with whom? She is not happy with the lady who has just arrived. I mean, it's a bit, I don't like this definition. I think it's generalizing,
It was na nandati, so does not do nanda, basically.
Does not do what?
Does not do ninda, like does not curse the person who is cursing.
Yeah, you have to take a poll. Whether you are right or not, I don't know. You have to take a poll from everybody and ask, is that the meaning? Which of the two meanings do you believe in? Na nandati or na nindati? So otherwise it will be nanindri, naninda. Here it is nanad, nad. Nad is to be happy. Nad is to be joyful. So she is not joyful because she possessed him. Now there is somebody else who possesses him. She doesn't like that. There's too much psychology. Look at all this. We get trapped in so many things. And so these so many types of sorrows are there. So the the new girl is now not happy. And the two ladies are not happy. So that's how it works. But anyway, I don't buy that idea. I'm just giving you the etymological meaning. And we cannot generalize like that. So, dhomani sarva dukkhanam, all these sorrows. So, even if you have brothers, sisters, sister-in-laws, and all that, and even if you are a sister-in-law, this hanihi upajayate, sarva dukkhanam hanihi. And we also saw another meaning for sarva dukkha, right? So sorrow is the same thing. There are not different types of sorrow, but the causes of sorrow can be different. And so we saw that adhyatmika tapam, adi bhautika tapam, and adi devika tapam. This we must remember. So three causes of sorrow, namely sorrow that comes from my immediate surroundings, from other people and things, and that's called adi bhautika tapam, sorrow. And then adhyatmika tapam, sorrow that comes, difficulties that come from my own self, my own body, my own mind. Mind is agitated, and then body is a cause of sorrow, cause of difficulties, because it goes its own direction. So I don't want to put on weight, body keeps on putting on weight. So this weight loss industry is huge, $1 billion, because of this body only. Body doesn't listen to me. And sometimes I don't listen to my mind. So that is a different problem. Okay. Then what? Then adi devika tapam. So all these other, rains and floods and so on and so forth, which are not in anybody's control, adi devika tapam. So sarva dukkhanam, all sorrows, hanihi upajayate. So here we make a point. What about pain? Does a jnani, does a wise person not experience pain? So Swamiji makes it a point to say, no, pain will be experienced. But pain and sorrow are two different things. And so, what was that? Somebody forwarded a WhatsApp message recently in our group about Ramana Maharshi. Pain is experienced, but some other word they used. Suffering, I think. Yeah, suffering. Suffering is not there. Pain is there, but suffering is not there. Very important. This is something to contemplate on. So for this person, how come there is no dukkha? How come there is no sadness? That is because of the nature of the knowledge. Because the nature of the knowledge is about Atma. Atma, Sukha Swarupaha, Ananda Swarupaha. So therefore, when that is seen clearly, there's no room for sorrow. There's no room for sorrow. And that knowledge is so important. So it is like the sun shining. There can't be any darkness when sun is shining. That kind of knowledge it is. And so that is why merely tranquility, merely that peace of mind, that calmness, will that destroy sorrow? If somebody asks, no. Just so that we don't get carried away. It is not just some peace of mind. It is a peace of mind backed up by knowledge, by jnana. And so therefore, here he says, backed up by knowledge. But then he says, next line, he says, prasanna chetasaha hi ashu buddhi paryavatishthate. Paryavatishthate. Paryavatishthate means established, well established, steady. And what is well established? Buddhihi. Buddhihi paryavatishthate. That is the main sentence. Buddhi here is not intellect, it means knowledge. That knowledge of the self, that knowledge of Ishvara is well established. Atma Vidya paryavatishthate. So therefore, just that you need that relative contentment in order to own up this knowledge. So it's like a catch-22. Catch-22. It's like driving a car, and nobody says, no, I will drive the car only when I know how to drive the car. That is the truth, really speaking. You can't drive the car unless you know how to drive the car. But then How will you know how to drive the car unless you sit and start driving the car? So really, it's a very scary thing for the people who are training this boy, this girl. These days, men and women don't learn driving a car. Girls and boys learn. By the time they're all eager to go. I want to drive. I need a car. So catch 22. So that is a very kind of vulnerable period for everybody, and especially the parents. And so same thing here also. Catch 22. So you need to have knowledge in order to be contented completely, but you have to be relatively contented in order to appreciate this knowledge. So here that order is given here. First prasadam first, prasada. So that cheerfulness first. Then after that he says prasanna chetasaha hi ashu. That person who has a tranquil mind, prasanna chetasaha. Okay, prasada and prasanna, same root, sad root. Okay, so same identical words, synonyms, prasada and prasanna, prasanna chetasaha. Such a person with tranquil mind, he ashu, quickly. Ashu means quickly, immediately, not later, immediately gains this knowledge, and that person's knowledge is well established. That is what here Krishna is saying. And well established means what? So we saw all that before. Achedyo yamadahyoyam akledyo shosya evacha nitya sarvagata sthanuhu achaloyam sanatanaha. Achalaha. Sthanuhu. So like a mountain. Achala means mountain. So that Atma, Achalaha Atma is understood. Because Atma is Sarva Vyapi, Sarva se Adhisthana. And so therefore, Achalaha, unshaken, cannot shake. That knowledge cannot be but steady. And nothing can inhibit it. That knowledge is just shining like this, like the sun is shining in broad daylight. And so the reason for Krishna bringing this prasada is like this. When in this pursuit, doubts will come periodically. There are two kinds of doubts. What kind of doubts are there? Prameya Shanka. Prameya Shanka means, what is the Shastram talking about? Is this the subject matter? The knowledge of Atma, is that really the subject matter of Upanishads? That is one doubt. Then that becomes clearer. Then is the Vedas really the Pramanam? So Pramana Shanka, they say in Sanskrit, in our Shastram. All these doubts start coming. And then of course there can be other doubts. When these things are clear, along the way doubts can come. So even when the pursuit of this Shastram continues, periodically doubts will come. And so in order that one can overcome the inhibition that those doubts create, so that relative cheerfulness is important. So the Ragadveshas, going back to Ragadveshas again. So it's how important it is. Thus, having mastery over our own selves, that is whole thesis, the entire second chapter. If you take the knowledge of Atma that is there, Achaloyam Sanatanaha, then everything else you put in Karma Yoga. So Karma Yoga is so important. Mastery over Ragadveshas. So therefore, this shloka so prasade sati, in Sanskrit we use the word sati, in brackets you can say sati. which means for the person who has prasada, whose mind is tranquil. That is a short form. Prasade is a short form for this entire, for that person. When there is tranquility in the mind, that is given by this one word, prasade. Okay, Saptami Vibhakti. Okay, it's a Sati Saptami, it's called in Sanskrit. Prasade, kama, sarva dukkhanam hanihi upajayate. So there is a word called asya in between. Hanihi asya upajayate. So asya prasade. Asya means purushasya, that person, for that person. So for the person whose mind is tranquil, kama, destruction of all pain and sorrow happens. All sorrow and pain. Swamiji says pain, but pain again can be experienced. So sorrow, definitely, destruction of all sorrow happens. Pain is understood as mithya, and so destruction of all pain and sorrow happens. Full stop. Prasanna chetasaha. Buddhihi, the knowledge of, buddhihi, the knowledge of the one whose mind is tranquil. Prasanna chetasaha, the knowledge of the one whose mind is tranquil, soon becomes well established. Ashu paryavatishthate. He indeed, you can add the word indeed in front of the sentence. Indeed, the knowledge of the one whose mind is tranquil soon becomes well established. Okay. Okay. So now in the next shloka, Krishna is going to, he's now praised this mastery over one's sense pursuits, and praised this knowledge, and praised this prasada buddhi, prasada, different than prasada buddhi, prasada, that tranquil mind. And now he is going to talk about the person who does not have that kind of a tranquil mind. So let's see what that is. Yeah. Bhavani. Nasti buddhihi.
नास्ति बुद्धिः
Ayuktasya.
अयुक्तस्य
Nachayuktasya.
न चायुक्तस्य
Bhavana.
भावना
Nacha bhavayataha.
न चाभावयतः
Shantihi.
शान्तिः
Ashantasya.
अशान्तस्य
Kuta sukham.
कुतः सुखम्
Nasti buddhirayuktasya.
नास्ति बुद्धिर्युक्तस्य
Buddhirayuktasya.
बुद्धिरयुक्तस्य
Nachayuktasya bhavana.
न चायुक्तस्य भावना
Nacha bhavayata shantihi.
न चाभावयत शान्तिः
Ashantasya kuta sukham.
अशान्तस्य कुतः सुखम्.
Yeah. So in the first line, he uses the word ayuktasya. Ayuktasya. Twice he uses the word nasti buddhihi ayuktasya na cha ayuktasya bhavana. That is the way to split it. Ayuktaha. So that yuj dhatu that we talked about, which gives rise to yoga and so forth, same root, yuktaha. Yuktaha, very beautiful word in Sanskrit. One who is together. Generally they say yuj, joining. They say the jiva is joining the Ishvara, like that they say. That's a very popular meaning of yoga, etc. But prior to that, there is that joining. Joining means that person is not fragmented. The person is one piece, is not, fragmented, saying one thing, doing something else, not clear about things, unsure about dharma, adharma, and doing unpredictability. All such a person is ayuktaha. Such a person is ayuktaha, and who is not in control of himself or herself, right? That's so. In other words, in our language, a person who is carried away by raga dvesha, carried away by likes and dislikes, and so now we have to be careful. Swamiji here cautions us. He says when a statement like this is made, immediately we tell ourselves, oh my God, I am not a yukta, because I am now only studying the Shastram, Bhagavad Gita. So I am not a yukta. Therefore, I must be what? I must be ayukta only. So like that, this idea, this judgment, self-judgment comes. And Swamiji talks about this tape, the tape that starts. And this idea that I am not good enough. I'm incapable doing this, doing that. I'm not adequate. This kind of thought process is there. And so he says that self-criticism, you need to keep it aside, and you have to tell yourself that this is the past. Now, and this journey is different, and I am here for my own betterment. And so any past records that are going on in my mind, you tell yourself, yeah, that is a past. All this I have to let go. Find a way to let go. And if it is difficult to let go, you do puja. Offer everything to Ishvara. Ishvara, you gave this to me, you take it back. I don't like it. Okay. Okay. So he cautions us here to say Krishna is not labeling us as ayuktas. He is using the word ayukta in order to praise the yukta, in order to give us a value for that yuktitva, value for that prasada, that tranquil mind. So this is called in you find this often in our Shastram. So it's called ninda and stuti. Stuti means praise. Ninda means, recently there is a hymn said na nindati, doesn't scold, doesn't denigrate, like that. So that putting down, what is that idea is there here. And so no, here Krishna is not interested in putting any of us down. And so we have to interpret these sentences like that. So the Anvaya Vyatireka, sometimes we call it. That is, you talk about the positive, then you talk about what happens if that is not there. So it gives us a good perspective of what is being said. It is meant for understanding here. Okay. So that person, ayuktaha, one who is carried away by ragadveshas, is being talked about. And again, we have to remind ourselves that ragadveshas, likes and dislikes, we are always going to have. And whether we are aware of it and whether we can laugh at these things and say, yeah, I know you're trying to pull me, but I'm not going to come. So do we have that mastery? And because even after studying Bhagavad Gita, these thoughts can come, because people around us are going to say, what is this, such a young man, what is he doing? He's studying Bhagavad Gita class. Online Bhagavad Gita? Yeah, I don't know. This pandemic, everybody is saying they are studying online classes. And this boy also has got into this. I'm very sorry for you people, for this boy. And so many things to do, and he's studying. There are other online classes too. He can do so many other things. Studying Bhagavad Gita. Is this that age to do all these things? And then suddenly, you have to respond to that statement. You got to say yes, no, get out of here. Something you have to say. So it all depends how shaken up we can become when some statement like that comes. And so, what is this book, Bhagavad Gita? It's not for you, my boy. Your parents bought it for them to read. Even they have not started studying Bhagavad Gita. Why are you studying? Good logic, right? I think that's good logic. Even they have not studying Bhagavad Gita. Why are you studying all this? I think your parents did not bring you up properly. So it's all, you will hear all kinds of stuff. So that is why Raga Dveshas, you got to be very clear so that you keep all these things aside. Because then so many things to do are there, no? That is Raga Dvesha. So constantly Krishna reminds us. And so he says, Nacha, so nasti buddhihi ayuktasya. Ayuktasya buddhihi nasti. That ayukta, that person who is carried away by ragadveshas, buddhihi nasti. Buddhihi nasti. What buddhihi, we know what that is. The knowledge of the self. Self-knowledge, nasti. There is no chance. Why no chance? Because self is here. Ragadvesha is for all things in the world other than the self. Correct? So I'm being carried away by everything that is other than the self. Therefore, where is the question of drawing the attention to the self? Not possible. Therefore, buddhihi nasti ayuktasya. Okay. Then he says, na cha ayuktasya bhavana. Bhavana. So, Shankara says upashamaha, bhavana. Because bhavana has many meanings. Bhavana can mean attitude, right? It can mean other things. And so here, upashamaha, Paramarthanandaji says, sthita prajnatvam. Contemplation. Dayanandaji says contemplation, bhavana. I take back that other word I said, contemplation, nididhyasana. That is what is being mentioned here, bhavana. Means here, remember, the journey, that this particular series of shlokas are meant for the person who has understood this, but there is still that viparita bhavana, right? That sense that I am limited. Shastram says I am the whole, but I feel inadequate. Why do I feel so small? So that idea is there. So in order to neutralize that idea, contemplation is talked about. Nididhyasanam. So that bhavana means nididhyasanam. So ayuktasya bhavana. Nididhyasanam means you have to sit in one place and think through all these things. All that has been learnt. And how can one sit? I remember once when we had a meditation class, after one of these classes, we had a 1 hour Gita class, then somebody said, no, we should meditate. So I conducted one. And 20 minutes, something like that. And one person, just after the, okay, Om Shanti, Shanti, after he said, he just got up from there and he just started walking. So because sitting for 20 minutes is just not easy. And that to say, okay, sitting for 20 minutes may be possible, but closing the eyes and then thinking about certain things, this is all too much. And even sitting without doing some chesta, like this, the lower back is there, back is reminding you. So many things we have to do while sitting. We can't simply sit. So bhavana, where is the question of bhavana? Nididhyasanam, contemplation for such a person. That is what Krishna is saying here. And then look at that. Third sentence, second line. Na cha abhavayataha shantihi. So full stop. Shantihi nasti. You can add the word nasti after each one of these fragments. Abhavayataha shantihi na cha asti. Na cha asti. So that person who is unable to contemplate, abhavayataha, shantihi nasti. There is no shanti. So here shantihi. So can have again several meanings. But because the word prasada meant tranquility, it sounds like shanti. So here Paramarthanandaji says sthita prajnatvam jivan muktihi. So shanti means knowledge. Sthita prajnatvam, established knowledge. That is the word, that is the meaning he gives. And so that complete vision is not there for that person. And Puja Swamiji says, love for oneself. Love for oneself. Love for oneself. You know, even in modern psychology, there is a talk about self-love. You know, you must love yourself. Self-esteem. Self-esteem means what? I am okay the way I am. I'm good. And that's self-esteem. But the person can say, how can I love myself? And every which way I look at myself, I feel very limited, inadequate. What to talk about this body? Constantly giving me problems. And every other week I am at the doctor's office. And like this, the list is big. And how can I love myself? This idea can come. And and of course, raga dveshas are there, and likes and dislikes are there. I keep pursuing my likes and dislikes, and not every like can be fulfilled. So therefore, this self-esteem problem will be there if we are not careful. And so this ashantihi. So this abhavayataha shantihi nasti. We have to take recourse to the Shastram here. Psychologically, one can say, okay, I have to, manage myself and I must build my self-esteem. All that is there. But to the extent that there is that deficiency in that self-love, it's a fracture. It fractures myself. And so here, Krishna says that is so important. That is why having a good self-esteem, that is why having a good upbringing, all these things are so important. Swamiji highlights all these things. And a good childhood is so important for anybody, for any child to grow, so that the person can become normal. So I use the word normal. Swamiji uses the word normal. We all want to be normal. That is all we want to be. We are not wanting to be some very fantastic human beings. No, we don't want to imagine things here. We just want to be normal. Normal means understanding things properly as they are. Therefore, understanding myself also properly. And that's the goal here. So, nacha abhavayataha shantihi. And then he says, ashantasya kutas sukham. So when that shanti is not there, so ashantasya, for the one who does not have that shanti, that sthita prajnatvam, kutas sukham. Where can happiness be? Sukham. Where can there be happiness? Because somebody can say, I am not interested in all this prasada, shanti, all these words you are using, and every time, every new shloka, you are bringing in more and more new words. I'm not interested in all that. I am interested in happiness, that's all. Can you give that to me or not? Bottom line, they say bottom line. Now I want to understand what this bottom, how the origin of this word bottom line is. Very interesting. So tell me the bottom line. Are you going to give me happiness or not? This is all I am interested in. This shanti, prasada buddhi, sthita prajnatvam, this, that, and all that. Okay, fine. You keep that with you. I want happiness. That's all. So Krishna is saying, ashantasya kutas sukham. How can that happiness come, my dear? Without all this raga dvesha discussion, You have to tell about yourself. Tell me about yourself first. Then I will tell you if I can give you happiness or not. It's not like going to the store and buying happiness. And so, kutas sukam. Kutaha means from where from. Where from can there be happiness for this ashantasya, for this person who cannot enjoy a relative contentment and for whom that knowledge is not there? Okay. And so for that person, Swamiji says, everything is enjoyable. Happiness means what? You can have joy just looking at the trees, looking at the flower, you can be happy. Looking at the bird flying, you can be happy. Small things which people take for granted. Suddenly you ask a boy who is on WhatsApp, hey, have you seen a crow recently? What? Have you seen a crow recently? As though shocked, as though this fellow does not understand the question. Very simple question it is. Did you see a crow recently? Don't know, I've not seen. What happened? Why you did not see a crow? Don't know how to answer that question. So we don't know whether there are birds out there. And they say all the sparrows are all gone in Bengaluru and many big cities. And like this story is there. So you kind of challenge these people with these basics. And so this person, Sita Prajnaha, can find joy in everything. And even in this boy who doesn't know what a crow is or is thinking about a crow, there is a bird called a crow. There also there is joy only. And so he says, Swamiji says, that person is happy because life is one big continuous joke. Like that, the person thinks. And so that Shanti is there and Sukham is there for that person. And so Ashantasya kutas Sukham. There is a song, Carnatic music. Shantamuleka Sukhamuledu. Like that, there is a song. How many of you have heard this song or know this song? Yeah, I see 2 or 3 hands there. Priyaji and Sundari and Mohan, etc. So, Shantamuleka Sukhamuledu. Look at that. Tyagaraja writes this thing. When there is no Shanti, there is no Sukhamu. And then Sarasa Dala Nayana. So, hey Rama, he writes it about, he's praising Rama. Hey Rama, the one who has eyes like a big lotus leaf. No, not this minute eyes, like this. Sometimes Chinese and others, they have small eyes. That also is beautiful. I mean, they have a beautiful little thing. But here in this culture, this big eyes is praised. And so Sarasa Dala Nayana. Hey Rama, Shantamuleka Sukhamu Ledu. Then he goes, then Vedantuni Kaina. Correct? Vedantuni Kaina. Like that he goes. You may say, I'm in control of myself. And then Vedantuni Kaina. You may say, I've studied this, I've studied that. Bhagavad Gita, I know all that. That's all long ago, 10 years ago. And now I am deeply into Upanishads and all that. You may say all that. But then, Dantuni Kaina, Vedantuni Kaina, Shantamuleka, Sukhamuledu. Like that he says. Doesn't matter. Dhanamu, he says other things. So he says, Dara Sutulu, Dhanamu, Dhanyamulu, he says. Undina. You may have wealth. You may have food, is no shortage, no problem for you. Dara Sutulu, family, wife, husband, children, all there, complete. Nothing more to ask for. Still, Shantamuleka Ashantasya kutas Sukham. So look at that. That shows, what does it tell us? What does this song tell us? It tells us that Tyagaraja is very much aware of the Bhagavad Gita. That's what it tells us, correct? So, very interesting. Very interesting. So therefore, here Pujya Swamiji adds, he says, so therefore the happy hour that you go after, happy hour does not buy you happiness. It robs you of your money. Like that he says. So this happy hour is the most unhappy hour for you and your family. Like that he makes a point. And so, need to take care of our raga dveshas. That is the important message for all of us. And so karma yoga ityadi, which will be talked about by Krishna in the 3rd chapter, etc., becomes very important for us. Okay, so let's go back and look at the shloka again. So the shloka has 4 sentences. You can divide the shloka into 4 sentences. Nasti buddhihi ayuktasya, and then na cha ayuktasya bhavana, na cha abhavayatah shantihi, full stop, ashantasya kutah sukham. So, ayuktasya buddhihi na asti. Pure, perfect sentence, one simple sentence. For the one who is not tranquil, ayuktasya buddhihi na asti. There is no knowledge. Of course, knowledge here, knowledge of the self. Knowledge of who the person really is. Full stop. Ayuktasya bhavana cha na asti. You can put the word asti again here within brackets. For the one who is not tranquil, ayuktasya, there is no contemplation. There is no nididhyasanam, contemplation, bhavana. Also, cha also. Full stop. Then what? Na cha abhavayataha shantihi asti. For the one who is not contemplative, abhavayataha, comma, there is no shantihi, there is no sthita prajnatam, there is no steadfastness in the knowledge. Correct? Abhavayataha shantihi cha na asti. That is the anvaya. Then last sentence. Ashantasya, for the one who has no shanti, as translated earlier, one who has no shanti, no sthita prajnatmam, no steadiness in knowledge, comma, how can there be happiness? Kutaha sukham, question mark. Question. So generally here, the commentators will say, this is not a question being asked. It is a aksheparte. It is saying there cannot be any happiness. How can there be happiness? Means there cannot be any happiness. Translate the question. Read it as a sentence. So it's like saying, what? It's already 4 o'clock. Your flight is at 5 o'clock. You have not even departed yet. How can you catch the flight? Means what? You are not going to catch the flight. That's the meaning. So same thing here. Kutaha sukham. Okay. So we have a minute. So let's chant the next one. Next shloka. So here next shloka, beautiful metaphor is given. So we will see that in the next class. Let's chant it once. So yeah, Mahesh ji, go ahead. Indriyanam hi charatam.
Indriyanam hi charatam.
Yan mano nu vidhiyate.
Yan mano nu vidhiyate.
Tadasya harati prajnam.
Tadasya harati prajnam.
Vayurnavamivambhasi.
Vayurnavamivambhasi.
Ivambhasi.
Ivambhasi.
Om swasti prajabhyah paripalayattam nyayena margena mahim mahishaha गोब्राह्मणेभ्यः शुभमस्तु नित्यं लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु काले वर्षतु पर्जन्यः पृथिवी सस्यशालिनी देशोऽयं क्षोभरहितः ब्राह्मणाः सन्तु निर्भयाः ॐ सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतंगमय ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ